of owning and or dominating the fourth quarter. So check them out right now. We own thefourthquarter.com. Also we're coming to you from the Magic City known as Birmingham, streaming to you the show on YouTube. Speaking of a channel, go ahead right now, give a thumbs up on the show, like the show, run those likes up, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on so that way you can have the best news, notes, alerts, and coverage on your Crimson Tide. Not only are we streaming this through YouTube, but we got you on Facebook, got you on Twitter, all forms of social media. You, the passionate Alabama fan, is taken care of here on In My Own Words via Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Got a shout out my man John Ivory one time in the building, in the production studio, doing his thing as we're bringing you the best in entertainment, the best in conversation on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. Got a lot to get into on this evening. A little bit later on in the show, we're going to be joined live by the elite, esteemed quarterback developer LaVale Durant out of Seattle, Washington. He's been able to work with both Bryce Young and Paul Tyson, so he's going to come on to kind of give us his feel of the quarterback competition, quarterback race. Will this thing go deep in the fall camp? Will A-Day decide who is the starting quarterback? Everybody is so excited about the future of Alabama football at that position. Who becomes the guy? Is it the California man, Bryce Young? Is it the great-grandson, the legendary guy of Paul W. Bear Bryant, that being one Paul Tyson? Who takes the bull by the horns? Who takes this job? Going to be fun to talk with LaVale Durant a little bit later on in the show. But as always, the daily super chat goal, ladies and gentlemen, $75, daily super chat goal of $75, and you guys have been strong. We appreciate the love, we appreciate the support, we appreciate the dedication and the energy that you, the fans, give us here at TDA. Gotta remind you that $75 super chat donation goal there, helping us out here at TDA. But as always, we want you being a part of the show. And you can be a part of the show by calling 205-448-1358. That's the number to dial to let your voice be heard, your opinion be heard. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. But we jump into now topic number one of the conversation, and I wasn't originally going to lead off with this, but after seeing this on my news feed today, I figured, why not? What gives? Let's do it anyway. So Steve Sarkeesian is, of course, the new head coach for the Texas Longhorns, and he was taking part in an interview, 105.3, the fan station down there in Dallas, Texas. And of course, upon him being addressed questions, the people down there in Texas, they want to get a feel for, who is Coach Sarkeesian? What are we getting in this guy? Are we getting a big-time coach? Are we getting somebody that can take the Longhorn program and put it back on the forefront where college football is concerned? So as he's answering these questions, as he's providing some information on these questions, one of the questions that was directed to him was on Nick Saban, as always. I mean, every former Alabama assistant head coach is going to get a question on Nick Saban, how he does things, how he goes about his business, how he goes about his process, how he goes about his style of not just getting the players to execute and play at a high level and buy into the culture, but to get the assistant coaches on staff to do the same thing. And, Coach Sarkeesian started off with the praise toward Coach Saban. He was a great mentor to me, great guy to me, helped me in my time of need. I gleaned, I learned, I pulled a lot of things from him. But at the same time, Sarkeesian also mentioned, hey, we should go toe-to-toe with Nick Saban at Alabama. We should be right there with Saban at Alabama. I mean, keep in mind, we're going to be recruiting the exact same kids, the exact same athletes, the exact same, 4 and 5 stars. He's going to go into a house giving his best recruiting pitch on why Alabama's the best spot. I'm going to go right behind him and give my recruiting pitch on why I think Texas is the best spot, and I got to have the confidence that I'm going to beat him and get these kids. And we here at Texas, we believe that we should be in the same conversation along with Saban at Alabama to be in the college football playoff and to win national championships. That's the standard at Alabama. They take nothing less than going to the college football playoff and winning the whole thing. So here at Texas, we have the same standard, getting to the college football playoff and winning the whole thing. And I understand that's the right mindset for Sarkeesian to have, but the question is, for you as Bama fans, will Nick Saban and Alabama be able to hold on to the state of Texas in recruiting based on what happened in this recruiting cycle? 27 nationally signed letters of intent, right? Of the 27 names, 7 of them hail from the Texas area, including some 5 stars. When you look at Kamar Wheaton at running back and Tommy Brockemeyer on the offensive line. Can Alabama hold on with Sarkeesian making these statements? Can Alabama hold on to the state of Texas on the recruiting trail? Because when Sarkeesian left for the Lone Star State, he took Kyle Flood and he took Jeff Banks, both guys that were phenomenal on the recruiting trail for Alabama and pulling those Texas prospects out of there. And Jeff Banks in particular, that has ties to the state of Texas, being that he coached down there at Texas A&M. So with Sark taking both of those 2 guys with him, and on top of that, Charles Huff, who had success recruiting the Texas area, he is now the head coach at Marshall. And with Carl Scott, who had success recruiting the Texas area, but also he was a DB coach at Texas Tech, he is now headed to the NFL to coach the defensive backs for the Minnesota Vikings. Can Alabama, can Coach Saban hold on to the state of Texas in recruiting? I have gotten quite a few messages, whether it be text messages, emails, Twitter DMs from fans going, Steven, I'm worried. Steven, I'm concerned. Steven, I don't know. Steven, can we hold on for Texas? Can we keep Texas, Steven, on the recruiting trail? Because we all Sark, and he was great, and he was so good, and he was so dynamic, and the offense that he ran, and Texas is getting that, and can we keep Texas? Steven, we just lost Kyle Flood, and we just lost Jeff Banks, and they were elite recruiters, and they knew the Texas area. Can we keep Texas? Steven, we lost Charles Huff, and we lost Carl Scott. Can we keep Texas on the recruiting trail? Steven, can we just keep that state? I'm worried, Steven. I'm worried. I'm concerned. I've gotten a lot of fans, Bama fans, big worried, big concern, wondering, will Alabama be able to keep hold of the state of Texas on the recruiting circuit? And to me, I think it will be able to do so. And here's the reason why. First and foremost, it's going to take a minute for Sarkeesian to build that program back up to where Texas is relevant again, to where it's in everybody's mouth, it's a talking point for everybody, and people consider the program back to being a school that contends for not just Big 12 titles, but for national championships. So it's going to take a minute for Sark to get that program back. And the question is, will the boosters in Texas, will the fans in Texas allow Sark that time to get the program back? Because remember, Texas is kind of crazy. You know, those boosters down there, they feel like we got the oil down here, we got the money down here, we have the resources, we have the facilities. We feel like we should be on the same level as everybody else. Heck, we feel like we should be bigger and better than everybody else because of how big the state of Texas is. So the question is going to be, how much time or how much of a leeway will the Texas boosters and the fans give to Sarkeesian and him trying to build the program back up? But the next idea is, or the next thought is, just like Saban lost some coaches there from this past season, he also gained some coaches that have huge ties to Texas. Think about Bill O'Brien here for a moment. Bill O'Brien coached the Houston Texans of the NFL for 6 years, 2014 to this past season, where he coached the 3 to 4 games this past season, if I'm not mistaken. And O'Brien knows that area. He knows the state, very well due to all the high schools in the state of Texas. I'm pretty sure O'Brien kept an eye on those guys because those guys go off to college. They play for the different programs on the collegiate level, and then O'Brien's watching those guys because a lot of those guys he will draft to the Texans. So Bill O'Brien knows the area extremely well. And then along with him, you got Robert Gillespie. Gillespie, of whom the running backs coach that Alabama hires over from North Carolina, he coached for 2 years at Oklahoma State. Stillwater, Oklahoma is on that border between Oklahoma and Texas. So Gillespie knows the Texas area quite well. But you look at Jay Graham, of whom Alabama brings over from Tennessee as its tight ends coach / special teams coordinator. Graham coached special teams for Texas A&M for a couple of seasons, so he knows the state of Texas really well. But you got Pete Golding, of whom, contrary to popular belief, people love Pete Golding on the recruiting trail. You talk to these young athletes, they say, Coach Golding, keep it real. Coach Golding, keep it 100. Coach Golding, keep it popping. He telling us the truth. We love what Coach Golding spit out to us. We picking up what he be putting down to us. So, and Coach Golding, that Texas, Louisiana area, that is his region in terms of recruiting. And I mean, it's just so many guys here on this recruiting circuit. And if Alabama is able to bring in the likes of Jason Jones to replace Carl Scott as the cornerbacks coach, Jason Jones spent time at Rice and Oklahoma State. So he's familiar with the state of Texas. So Nick Saban, even after losing some guys, he's brought in some guys that are very much so acquainted. They know the ins and outs of the Lone Star State, that being Texas. But the question is, will Nick Saban be able to hold on to that area in recruiting? Sarkeesian's down there now, Banks is down there now, Flood is down there now, and they're going to try to keep all the in-state talent with the Longhorns. They're going to try to keep all the in-state talent in-state and build a wall around that community, around that environment, because you go down to that area, you can shake a tree limb and 5 stars fall off that tree limb at will. But a lot of fans concerned, a lot of fans kind of nervous, but to me, in my opinion, I feel like Saban is still going to be able to go down into the state of Texas and pull out guys at will. He'll be able to cherry pick the guys that he wants to get from the Lone Star State. But that's going to lead us to our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, just getting you warmed up here on a Wednesday. Upon our return, we get into a dialogue with you, the Alabama football fans. Based off of what Alabama did in this recruiting cycle, which state has become the most important state moving forward on the recruiting trail in your mind? That being the question of the day. But we'll get to a dialogue with you, the fans, after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we are back in from the break on a Wednesday, hump day, hottest show on the streets. #1 ticket here for all things Crimson Tide news, notes, and information. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate you guys tuning in on tonight. Got to remind you, the daily Super Chat goal, $75 donation daily. Super Chat goal of $75. Appreciate all the love, support, and the passion that you guys have as the Crimson Tide fan base helping us out here via the Super Chats for TDA. But we're going to take your phone calls right now. 205-448-1358, the number to call in to let your voice be heard. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. We grab a call right now. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Stephen. Hey, this is Jonathan from Brunswick, Georgia. I called in on your show a couple of months ago, but I called back. I just wanted to give your thoughts on something real quick because I know we got a QB competition coming up. But before I talk about the QB competition coming up, I got to run your mind on some thoughts that I don't know if you know, but we haven't lost to anybody, any team with the exception of a Tiger since 2015. The last time we lost to a team other than a mascot that had a mascot than a Tiger was Ole Miss, and that was back in 2015. Since then, we have crushed every single school that had a mascot other than a Tiger. We've only lost to Auburn, LSU, and Clemson. So when we won the national championship this year, you know, there's a little luck in it because also when you think about this, Clemson played in the Sugar Bowl against Ohio State, and Clemson's never won a Super Bowl. And the only reason I bring up this point is because you realize there's a little luck and magic inside of college football. And I think this is going to kind of play out inside of the QB competition because Bryce Young is from California, and that's awesome. But the last time we had a starting quarterback or a kid from California came over here to try to start at Alabama, didn't work out that well. That was Blake Barnett, and before him, Martin Gouling. If you want to count in Cooper Bateman, he was over there from the West Coast. The only quarterback from the West Coast to start was Tua, and that's in the Nick Saban era. Every single quarterback that's basically started at the University of Alabama has been from Texas or Alabama, Georgia, or Florida, not from the California area or the West Coast area with the exception of Tua. So I think this quarterback competition is going to be a little funny and a little interesting because I don't think Bryce Young is just fighting for just the starting quarterback job. I think he's fighting to prove that a kid from California can come over here and play inside of the SEC and start at the premier program. Because if not, then, I mean, you got Braxton Barker, you got Paul Tyson, all on the roster, and then Jalen Milroe, which I don't know if a lot of people remember, back in 2016, we had Blake Barnett, Cooper Bateman, and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was that incoming freshman. Blake Barnett had already been there, five-star quarterback coming out of California. He got the job at the USC game, outbeat Cooper Bateman, who was from Utah, ended up transferring out. And Blake Barnett had that one series, tucking out. Jalen Hurts, the boy from Texas, came in, took the job. Bateman transferred, and Barnett transferred out.
Good points there. Good point there. Good call right there. And I agree with that. I agree with that. You got a guy in a Bryce Young that's not only trying to win the quarterback job, but like you mentioned, he's trying to prove that guys from the West Coast can play quarterback in the SEC, so he carries a lot there on his shoulders. I agree with you. Appreciate that call right there. We got to shout out my man Spencer Reveley, who donated $5 through the Super Chats. Appreciate that love. They're coming from Spencer Reveley at $5 donation. We take our next call of the evening. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Mr. Smith, how you doing? This is Jalen Prince.
What's going on?
Not much. I wanted to get a couple questions with you. A lot of people have been talking about the quarterback competition and everything, but my thing is I'm intrigued on who's going to be starting at receiver. I mean, I read your article when you talked about John Mechie going to be the next one to stand up, and when I looked at him, I see a big physical guy that can catch in traffic. I feel like he's going to get a lot faster. I feel like he's going to get a whole lot more physical and a lot stronger, and I feel like he's going to be the guy that's going to be able to lead us. My question is, who are going to be the other two besides him and Billingsley and guys like that? Who are going to be the next two? Because you think about the four receivers that we just recruited with JoJo Earl, Christian Leary, and a couple other guys from Florida that escapes my name. But like, I want your opinion. Who are going to be the guys that can step up and help out Billingsley and John Mechie?
I like Javon Baker. I like him at 6'1", 6'2". I like Baker. I like Xavier Williams. Can he finally break through and be consistent is the question. And I like Christian Leary. Really, really good speed guy, but from talking to our own Justin Smith, he looks at more JoJo Earl being the receiver type and Christian Leary being a bit more the returner type. But if I had to put my stamp on it, give me Javon Baker, give me Xavier Williams, and then give me JoJo Earl, those three. But it's going to be interesting, Jagan, to see how this thing cranks up because spring football right around the corner next month. I'm excited. We appreciate the call, man. Absolutely. Everybody excited here for spring football coming up. The question of the day, though, folks, is based on what happened on the 2021 recruiting circuit here, on this recruiting circuit, which state becomes the most important moving forward for Bama in recruiting? I know some people say you got to keep Texas, and you do. Some people say you got to keep Louisiana, and you do. Others look at Florida and Georgia, and both of those two states are massive states. But to me, I feel like you got to make sure you hang on to your own state. I thought Alabama's got to hang on to all the in-state talent, hang on to all the Bama talent, because in the last three classes, 2019, 2020, and this recent cycle here, a lot of big-time in-state kids. When you discuss Amari Kite, Paul Tyson, Talia Tagovailoa from 2019, though Talia transferred to Maryland. For 2020 class, you look at DeMoy Kennedy and Jackson Bratton, two really good linebackers. If you look at 2021, and also Christian Story, also coming from Lynette High School in Alabama, can't forget him. And if you look at 2021 and discussing guys like JaQuincy McKinstry, so also 2020 Malachi Moore in that class. So the last three classes here, we have seen a big in-state talent from this state. So while going outside the state, you want to keep a firm hold on other areas. But at the end of the day, to me, the state of Alabama knocking down this state and preventing other coaches from coming into this state and snatching these homegrown kids, that's the biggest importance there to me. But we take a break right now. Upon our return, everybody that's on the phone lines, hold for the break. Upon our return, we will actually sit down with LaVale Durant, the elite, esteemed quarterback developer, to talk the quarterback conversation between Bryce Young and Paul Tyson, and then get back to your calls. We'll be right back.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, we are back in from the break on the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, and we hop over to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up a dear friend of mine and a dear friend of the show, my man LaVale Durant, the esteemed elite quarterback developer out of Seattle, Washington, West Coast. Love, LaVale, what's going on?
Not much, man. How are you, man? How are you?
Doing well, man. Doing well. I mean, this upcoming season, LaVale, there's so much excitement because Bama fans want to know who is the future at quarterback. You got 3 guys on the roster here, 3 scholarship guys, but 2 guys, more importantly, people look at, is it Bryce Young? Is it Paul Tyson? Is it the young man from California, or is it the great-grandson of Paul Bear Bryant? Who has the key to the future for real, for real? And you have gotten the chance to work with both. You've trained with both. You've been around both. when you look at this impending competition starting this spring, is it something that goes deep into fall camp, or will this be decided in the spring game? How do you see this shaping out?
I could definitely see it shaping out in spring ball. This is not going to be an easy decision. You got both two real talented 5-star athletes that both are built for the big lights, man. So it's going to be interesting, and the interesting part about this situation is you have the dual threat electrifying guy, and on the other side you have the big prototypical guy with the strong arm, and which is the hometown hero with tremendous talent as well. So it's going to be a tough situation over there in Tuscaloosa.
Now, Lavelle, when you look at just Paul Tyson right here, and you bring it up, prototypical guy, 6'5", 230-plus pounds here, how much was the success of Mac Jones from this past season? How big does that play in Tyson's cap?
I think that works in Tyson's favor a little bit. It kind of showed that even in 2021, where all the quarterbacks are required to run low 4.6s and 4.5s, that, hey, we could still get the job done and win the big game with the guy that could stand in the pocket and deliver. So I think Paul's in a little bit of better shape now that it worked out for Mac Jones.
Now, of course, all of these guys, but especially these two, it comes down to the play calling of Bill O'Brien. As the offensive coordinator, he takes over for one Steve Sarkeesian, who was magnificent in 2 years with the Crimson Tide and what he did. So as a coach, a teacher, a developer of quarterbacks, what does Bill O'Brien need to do? He inherits a big room. He inherits a talented room. What does O'Brien need to do to get the quarterback to hit? What should O'Brien be doing?
I think what would help him out and put him in a great situation is playing to the strength of the quarterback. So not trying to make Bryce play like Paul and make Paul play like Bryce, but play to Paul's strengths or play to Bryce's strength. I think that way right there will give us a good gauge on what this player has to offer.
If you're just tuning into the show, ladies and gentlemen, on a Wednesday, we got the elite, esteemed quarterback developer Lavelle Durant out of Seattle, Washington, West Coast, on the phone line right now, talking this quarterback competition between Bryce Young and Paul Tyson. Of course, Jalen Milroe is involved as well, but Durant worked specifically with Tyson and Bryce Young. So, Lavelle, just looking here at Bryce Young for just a moment here, we had a call that called into the show that talked about the pressure that's on Bryce, not just to win the quarterback job, but to show the SEC that guys from the West Coast could come play in this conference and lead at quarterback and play big-time football. Is Bryce capable of handling that pressure? How has he gone about it? Because people really want to see, can he do this? He was so special. He was so elite. He was so talented in high school. Can he do this?
Yeah, I think Bryce can definitely handle this. In today's game, there's so many platforms where you're forced to perform on under such bright lights with so many eyeballs on you that it does a great job of preparing these young men for what they're going to enter into once they get to that next level. With Bryce going to a prestige high school and playing with a big program and being a part of the Elite 11 and things like that, it helped him out and put him in a great position to kind of be able to deal with whatever's coming his way, whether it's positive or negative. So I definitely think that Bryce is definitely built for this. Knowing him personally, know that he has thick skin and yeah, it's a bit far away from home, but it's not everything's possible for somebody of that caliber.
Absolutely. So as we flip this now to Tyson, there are a lot of people out there that are not buying into it. They feel like, Tyson's good, but he's here because, he's the legacy. He's Paul Bryant's great grandson. I can't buy in. I can't put stock into it. We can't say that he's really, really all that good. So in your opinion here, what's kind of caused people to not buy all the way in on Paul? But from you working with him, what have you seen in Paul that has you going, y'all better buy in quick because this guy can really, really play?
Yeah, hey, Paul's definitely there for a reason, and it's not because of who his grandfather is. He definitely possesses a lot of talent, great arm strength. He's definitely a student of the game, more athletic than what you would think from a guy of that stature. So he's definitely there for a reason. He's going to surprise a lot of guys and show a lot of people that, hey, I belong here, and it's not because of my last name or who I am, but it's because of what I can do for this program. So he's definitely a guy that I'm excited to see how this offseason pans out, and I think everybody's going to really see what this young man has to offer.
Now, you told me, Lavelle, that you're going to be in Bama in the next couple of weeks here. So
yes, sir.
What's the plan, you coming down here? What's the plan right now?
I'll be there. I'll be there on the 19th, actually. I have a couple of young men that I'm going to work with out there with some of the Alabama quarterbacks, which are guys that I'm working with once I get there. And but the most important thing is I can't wait. There's a restaurant. I don't know if I should say the name of the restaurant, but I cannot wait to sit down at this table, man.
Man, you are going to get you some good food, man. Going to get you some awesome food. But we're here with Lavelle Durant, the esteemed elite quarterback developer out of Seattle, Washington, joining us here on a Wednesday, talking Bryce Young, Paul Tyson, this quarterback race that everybody is so engulfed in, excited about, can't wait till spring ball gets here to see what is the future for real. Who holds the key to that future for real? Lavelle, we appreciate you coming on, taking time to be here with us. You take care of yourself. Be good. Hit me up when you reach Bama, man. I'm gonna go and grab lunch with you. Hit me up, man.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I'll definitely hit you up, man. I want your opinion on this place. Make sure it's not just me.
I got you, man. You take it easy, man. Take care.
Sounds good, man. Looking forward to it. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely. We got Lavelle Durant, the esteemed quarterback developer out of Seattle, Washington, talking the Crimson Tide signal caller race for the upcoming season starting off in spring ball. We take a break right now, but when we get back, we go back into the phone lines to entertain your phone calls, your thoughts, your ideas, your questions on Bama football right after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit weownthefourthquarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace. You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we are back into the action here, folks, from the break on the hottest show on the streets here, talking your Crimson Tide. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, live from the Magic City of Birmingham. And before we jump back in the phone, jump back to the call lines to take your calls here, got to remind you of mybookie.ag. They just sponsor the TDA. Mybookie.ag. You're feeling lucky, you're feeling fortunate, you feel like you got the skills to pay the bills and wagering on football games and winning on those wagers. Check out our friends right now at mybookie.ag. Make the right play and sign up today at mybookie.ag. And when you do make the right play and sign up, you use the promo code TDAlabama to get your deposit matched halfway, all the way up to $1,000. Can't beat that with a stick. That's mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag. Use the promo code TD Alabama today. We get back to the phone lines now, 205-448-1358. That is the number to call to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. We take a call right now. You're live on the show. What's going on? Live on the show. What's going on?
How you doing?
Doing well, and yourself?
Pretty good.
What's on your mind right now?
I'm just watching the show. I'm a new person watching the show.
Oh, congratulations, man. We appreciate it. Definitely appreciate the new guy watching the show right here. We actually go to our next caller right now. We take this call. You are live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well, and yourself?
Doing all right. My name is Norman Blair.
How we feeling, man?
Doing all right. Hey, man, I had some concerns about, why our defense don't stand at. I pretty much think we still got, like, quite a bunch of weapons on offense. But my question is, I got a feeling about our defense. I just hope our defense stand up the part, with Baymore going off to the NFL. Then you got Patrick Surtain. There's a bunch of people left and like a bunch of legends that's leaving, And then like we had a couple of D linemen that stayed back as well. So, I just want to see why our defense stands at for this upcoming season because, we got Miami and we got Florida, teams like that. We got to see what and I know teams like that, they are all great schools and they most definitely going to give us a run for our money, especially on defense.
Well, this is the year, man, where if Pete Golding does not get it done this season, then you got to go elsewhere. This is the year Pete Golding has to get it done because you bring so much back defensively. Yes, you lose Surtain and Barmore, and those are two huge losses. Dylan Moses gone too, but Christian Harris is back. Fadarian Mathis is back. Tim Smith back. LeBron Ray, hopefully he can stay healthy back. Will Anderson, Chris Allen. You got a whole bunch of talent in the secondary that you got to sort through. So if Pete Golding cannot get it done this year, I don't know what to say for him. This has to be the year he gets it done because the talent is back defensively. But we appreciate that call right there. We take our next call. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, man. What's going on?
Doing well on yourself.
Yeah, I think this Bryce Young and Paul Tyson deal, I think I looked for the season to go where Nick Saban was going to make it Bryce Young's job to lose. Pretty much like he made it with Jalen Hurts' job to lose. Paul Tyson's going to have to take it from Bryce Young. And Nick Saban, from what I believe, is going to go in with the attitude of Bryce Young as the starter. And if anybody wants to be a starter, he has to lose the job. And I don't think Tyson, it's not my opinion, I don't believe Tyson will be able to do anything to take it from him. I think that's how it's going to go starting out. But that's with Jalen Hurts and Tua. It can't be done. It would have been better if Bryce Young had not left, a little bit of a doubt with someone he didn't, not that he was bad, but didn't take total command when he was during the time people were in. Now, of course, it was mob up duty, and the play calling was quite limited. And I thought many times he got in late, but it's still some plays were outstanding. I mean, the talent is obviously there. It's can he do it on a consistent basis? What he'll have to prove. But I think at least what I think going in is going to be Bryce Young's job to lose. Pretty much the way it was with Jalen Hurts. He'll be going in as the starter, but hey, you can't lose it. And that's how Nick Saban operates. At least was my opinion.
Good point right there. Good point. Going to be excited to see how this shakes out starting off in the spring. Appreciate that call right there. We take our next call. You're live on the show. What's going on tonight?
Mr. Stephen Smith. What's going on? It's Tobias out in Fresno, man.
Man, the man Brookins is here. Man Brookins.
Yes, sir. When I get off this, I'm a super chat it as usual. Listen, I agree with everybody for the most part. Steve, you already told the truth on one of your other shows. This defense gonna be nasty. I don't know what people worried about.
I'm gonna say
Unless there's
this.
some
I mean,
crazy.
if Pete Golding cannot get it done with having everybody back, minus a few names, couple names, but mostly everybody comes back. If you can't get it done with this, then we need to put your resume elsewhere. Go hire somebody fast, because everybody who's anybody is back on this defense.
You already know, though, Steve, the defense is going to be nasty. And we believe, listen, Dylan wasn't even healthy this year, right? We were always nice with Dylan because we love him. You know what I'm saying? All that he went through and all that he's done for the team. But he wasn't even healthy this year. And you know that the guys behind him are hungry. The ones we got coming in, nasty. The defensive ends coming in, nasty. So I ain't worried about the defense. Now on offense, I'm looking for Tommy to step up. I'm looking for that new kid. Is it Ferguson? No, not Ferguson. The tackle, that new tackle coming in. I'm looking for him to compete. The Brockemeyer boy, I think he's gonna have to sit and wait. I hear his technique is off the chain, but I just can't believe it. I think he's gonna have to wait a couple of seasons or one season. I believe our line is gonna jive through spring if we get a spring ball. What I'm thinking about though is that quarterback. Now, your guy before me, he made a good point. It's going to be Bryce's to lose. But you know what, man? I think the measurables, his height, I hear his speed is okay. But, man, I'm just looking. I don't know why Paul didn't get in. So that makes me worried about Paul because I'm like, well, they didn't even put him in, give him a chance. But I believe he has the measurables. And if he does and he can have the pinpoint accuracy, I think we're looking at something nasty going into this because my boy Robinson in the backfield, nasty. We got boys behind him running back. I just think all in all, if we can make it through this year, we could look at three-peat straight up because our team is young. So anyway, Steve, I just wanted to give you a shout out as I normally do, man. You're the bomb.com. When I get off, I'm a super chat. Roll Tide.
Appreciate that call coming in from Tobias Brookins, man. Great call right there. And I mean, the best thing that could have happened for Paul Tyson is the year Mac Jones had a season to go. Mac Jones, not just incredibly athletic, great athlete, but not like a wild type athleticism. But the season Mac had, 4,500 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 picks, Heisman finalist, consensus All-American, and took this team and won a national championship with it. All of that Mac did speaks volumes for the success that Paul can have should he, take this job and win this job. But before we go to our quick break, we got our topic to get to here. And in terms of our topic, here we go. So what's cool is the Alabama football fan base, we put up a poll on the TDA YouTube account about does Alabama keep all 7 running backs on the roster for the next season in the fall? About 68% of you answered it with no, you don't feel like Bama will keep all 7 backs, but within the comments, there was about 60 comments. So many of you are excited to see Jace McClellan. I saw so much love for Jace McClellan in the comment section now. You had some folks saying Brian Robinson, B-Rob, don't sleep on him, it's his time. Some folks said, nah, bruh, it's Keelan Robinson time. Some folks said Trey Sanders, I've been hyping him up, it's his moment. Even had a couple of guys go Kamar Wheaton, but I saw so much Jace McClellan love in the comments. And, Jace, after a big season he had this past year as a freshman, he's looking forward to doing even more, snatching even more carries, snatching even more attention, garnering even more responsibilities, the young man from Aledo High School in Texas. But we take a quick break right now. When we get back, we return to the phone lines to take your calls, your thoughts, your opinions. What are you feeling tonight about Bama football? We get back to you after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we are back in here, folks, from the break on the number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And before we get back to the phone lines to take your calls, got a couple of super chats to get to. And how about the pimp of the Blue Wrench Gang? Pimp Senator Hines dropping in that $4.99. Viva Super Chats, appreciate that love from Senator, and also Tobias Brookins. He said he was going to two-step his way into that donation. Tobias Brookins, my man from Fresno, dropping in that $20 donation, helping us out here via the Super Chats. Appreciate that love from Senator and Tobias. Also, ladies and gentlemen, there's been some rumors going around, some talk, some conversation that Alabama could get Henry Toato from Tennessee out of a transfer portal. Will it happen? Remains to be seen. But there are some rumblings. There are some talking. There's some dialogue. There's some talking going on. There's some conversations brewing up about there's a possibility, there's a chance here that Coach Saban gets Henry Toato from Tennessee out of the portal. But right now, we get back to the phone lines to take your calls, 205-448-1358. We take a call right now, and I believe this is Ballard Sports Media. What's going on, Ballard?
What's going on, TDA, Bama Nation, and Mr. Stephen Smith? How you guys doing tonight?
Doing well, man. Enjoying this Wednesday, man. Enjoying the hump day.
Yeah. Before I get into what I wanted to talk about, that Henry Toato is a really, really talented defensive back. And I know he's from Tennessee. I know they got some crap going on in Knoxville right now. But if Bama does pick him up, that'd be a huge addition to the defense that's already going to be great next year.
I mean, absolutely. If you could get a linebacker like Toato, 6'2", 225, you don't have to move Christian Harris. Just leave Christian Harris weak side, stick Toato in the middle. He's got massive production. Alabama targeted him in the 2019 recruiting cycle, didn't get him. He goes to Tennessee. But if Saban can pull him out of there, big, big move.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I also wanted to talk real quick about the, this quarterback situation, man. I think, like you said, I mean, it's Bryce Young's to lose, but, we don't know what's going to happen in spring practice. We don't know what Saban's going to see. I mean, look.
We can also battle it right there, but we'll get back to Answer's point. We take another call right here, and I believe this is my man, Senator. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Stephen A? How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing fantastic here, enjoying this Wednesday right now.
Man, I'm right there with you, man. I just wanted to call and address just a few points we've already been talking about. First off, the Alabama defense, man, to coincide with possibly getting Toato from Tennessee. I still think even if we pick that guy up, he'll come in and be an extensive role player, like an X-Factor role player for us. Because I think guys like Jalen Moody, Christian Harris, you got the freshman coming in at outside linebacker.
Deontay Lawson is nice, too.
Exactly. And you get what I'm saying? Like, we got all this talent coming in. Preferably, the COVID cases keep dropping in Alabama like they have. It's been reported over the past couple of weeks. So, leading into spring, that'll go perfect for what we any new guys that we got coming in, transfers and early enrollees. Then we'll be able to get a fall camp. I think that's going to help the defense remain exactly where they are end of the season, and that's at the top of the league. And then you talk about the quarterback situation. Paul Tyson. A lot of people question why Paul Tyson didn't get a lot of reps last year. I think that's to me, we can look at it both ways, and we talked about this before, Stephen. We can look at it as either he wasn't good enough, and Bryce had the lead in the competition for backup QB, or Paul Tyson is so well versed in Sarkeesian's offense, or the offense we had, that he didn't need the extra garbage time to go out there and prove what his worth was. Why risk it? Let the young guy get out there and get some live game action, and try to learn. If we have the space to do it, let it happen, But I believe if push came to shove, Paul Tyson, if Mac Jones would have went down, Paul Tyson would have got a fair chance to go out there and compete in live game action and in practice. So I think it was more of a business decision last year that really didn't hurt us or affect us. It gave us a look at what we wanted. I think Nick Saban, even his mentality of how he handles the team is changing by the way. You see what he did for Landon Dickerson at the national championship. I would have never thought Nick Saban, old Nick Saban, 2009 to 2011 Nick Saban, to do something like that. Handle business, let's get the game over with, let's win it. No, he added an extra 8 to 10 minutes onto the game just to sub a transfer senior in to take the last few snaps of the game with the quarterback, and then, just to have that moment. So we can look at it both ways, man. And then to Tobias, man, hey, that dude come in with some heat, man. Every time he call in, he come in with some heat. I think the main thing we want to remember with Nick Saban coach defenses, the system doesn't necessarily change. The style may change a little bit, but the system doesn't change. You look at the type of athletes we bringing in, the same blitz packages we were seeing, the same amount of pressure we were seeing towards the end of the season, we can see us starting the season off with that. And we all know all the quarterback changes in the league and across the country, that might play into our favor with this experienced defense. But that's all I got for tonight, Steven. Shout out to the chat, Super Chat, Blue Wrench Gang. Y'all know I'm already out here. Hey, I would have sent more money, Steven, but, I just had to pay the child support, you know what I'm saying? So I got you Friday. I
feel you, brother. I feel you. Them kids come first, bro. Them kids come first.
Take care, brother. Roll Tide, man.
Appreciate the call there coming from our own Senator Hines calling in here on a Wednesday. Them kids come first, man. We take our next call of the night. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Steven. First time caller here. How you doing?
Man, I am well. It is Wednesday, fresh off watching the Super Bowl. Tom Brady got drunk. Great day.
I hated the Super Bowl, but I love how the Chiefs lost, But I don't like Tom Brady. You like Tom Brady?
I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but you got to respect him to some degree.
Well, I'm going to just get straight to the point. People in Alabama fuck goats, and they cheated against Ohio State.
They cheated against Ohio State?
Yes, they cheated against Ohio State.
How so?
Because there were so many face masks supposed to be called, but, did you not watch the O-line? They were holding crazy.
I mean, I was there. I saw the whole game, start to finish.
Are you an Alabama fan? I'm
a reporter, so I work for the program.
But what team you root for?
I mean, I root for the team that pays me.
Oh, wait, so you root for the team that pays you?
Hey, I root for the team that allows me to travel, so Crimson Tide allows me to travel. We appreciate that call right there. Anyway, we take our next call. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Last guy, he was a zombie or something, wasn't it? This dude was crazy. But yeah, like Senator Hines said, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Like Senator Hines said, Nick Saban coached the defense. So when we get a good offensive coordinator, our offense will be unstoppable. This year, we're going to be unstoppable. The reason I say that is because we got a lot of weapons on our offense. And then we got a NFL offensive coordinator, so they ain't used to having a lot of weapons. They know how to coach those type of deals. So, like Brian Robinson, he's going to be a handful. He's really going to be a handful. Ain't nobody going to be able to stop him because he runs with a lot of energy, a lot of anger. So then, like a quarterback situation, like Nick Saban will work him out. He'll get him some real live gameplay, see what they got. Then we got weapons on the wide receiver side. So that's why I say our offense is going to be unstoppable. We just got too much.
Good point there. Good point there. Appreciate that call right there. Good point right there. I mean, I like what Bama has offensively. Like I said, defense, anybody who's everybody. The main people are back defensively. So you got the main people back defensively. Long as Pete Golding does his job as the coordinator, Alabama will be able to, repeat there as the national champion. We appreciate that call. We go to our next call here in the queue. You are live on the show. What's going on? Live on the show, caller. What's going on? Kind of lost that call right there. But we take our next call in here. Well, I thought we had a call in. I did not have a call in there, but we appreciate you guys calling in. We're going to go to a break right now. Upon our return, we're going to actually get into my top 5 juniors for the Crimson Tide coming up in the 2021 campaign in the fall. We get into my top 5 juniors. Before we get into that, though, guys, shout out Agar Thompson. That $20 donation for the Super Chats. Appreciate Mr. Thomas, Agar Thomas. So appreciate Mr. Thomas helping us out there with that $20 donation via the Super Chats. We take our break. We come back. We talk top juniors for the upcoming season after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we are back in from the break of the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. That being, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Wednesday hump day. And before we get into final topic of conversation, got to remind you guys of TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. So why am I doing this? This is why. For all of you fans still overjoyed with the Tide's national championship, check out our championship collection merch. Do it right now. Grab you 18 of them things, folk. T-shirt, hoodie, or sweatshirt, as well as our Got 18 shirts. We do. The size on these shirts, which features all 18 championship years on the back, head over right now to TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. Go over Championship Collection tab and grab you that championship merch today. Showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, for student athletes, and us here at TDA. Go copy you those shirts. But now we get into my top 5 juniors going into the upcoming season for the Crimson Tide. And something that my old high school head football coach would always tell us is the seniors are the emotional leaders of the team, but the guys that really roll up their sleeve and get the work done would be the juniors. I mean, I don't know why he would say that, but he would always say the seniors are the emotional leaders of the team. The juniors are the ones that are rolling up their sleeves and getting down to work for real, for real. So, In honor of that, we can look at the top 5 juniors, just seeing how Bama trying to repeat as national champions. And on top of that, once you hit your junior year, the 3rd year at a collegiate program, this is where the NFL scouts, the draft pundits, the talent evaluators, they start to look at you. They start to pop the tape in on you. They start to take notes on where does this guy fit when you discuss the next level. So top 5 juniors. For me, starting this thing off here at number 5, and this is going to shock some people, Will Reichert, place kicker, number 5 in terms of top juniors for the upcoming season. The reason why Will Reichert is 5, Alabama fans, you guys are so happy to have a place kicker, a dependable, reliable leg that you can count on. I mean, for the first time since 2012, you as the Bama Nation, you guys have an accurate leg that you can get behind, and everybody is behind Reichert. 14 for 14 on field goals, 84 for 84 on extra points, and that was during a season where he was not required to do much because the Alabama offense in 2020 was just so explosive and efficient. But now, in losing a starting quarterback, a starting running back, 2 number 1 wide receivers, and 3 starters on the offensive line and the offensive coordinator, Alabama's offense is going to jail. It's going to be fine, but there are going to be some moments early on where it could hit a bump and a bruise. It could hit a rough patch, and that's where having that quality ace kicker comes in that can step up, drill a 40-yard field goal, drill a 50-yard field goal, make kicks to keep you in position ahead to win football games. And after Reichert did not win the Lou Groza Award, he was left off the All-SEC team. He has a lot of motivation coming into the upcoming season. Reichert, number 5, top junior. And with Jay Graham as the special teams coach. Jay Graham took Roberto Aguayo and made him a 2nd-round pick in the 2016 NFL Draft to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With Jay Graham in here, he's going to do big things with Will Reichert. Moving on to number 4, in terms of top juniors, give me John Mechie at wide receiver. And he is stepping into a role that was once occupied by legends such as Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, and Devontae Smith. He's occupying the role held by guys that knew how to be number 1 primary leadership wide receivers. Now, of course, he dropped some passes last season. John Mechie did, but even despite the drops, he had big numbers: 55 catches, 916 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns. Had 2 games where he had over 100 yards receiving against Texas A&M and Tennessee. At 6 feet, 195 pounds. He does have the potential to be a number 1 guy, but can he prove that can he show up and show out consistently? Can he prove to the masses that he is a number 1 guy and can hold that crown with pride and can hold that crown with an intense work ethic and production? When you look at a Devontae Smith, some people felt like, could he be a number 1 guy? But he ended up answering the call, answering the bell, proving himself that he was more than capable of doing that. So for John Mechie, can he get this thing done? He's already got motivation coming from Pro Football Focus, as the website did not have him as one of the top 10 receivers returning to college football. Number 4, John Mechie. Moving on down to number 3, Christian Harris at the linebacker position. And once again, that junior year, especially for linebackers, they know what's up. They know it's time to get themselves prepared for the NFL draft. They know it's time to get themselves prepared to have a high draft stock. With the exception of Dylan Moses, and Mack Wilson, everybody else hit on every single checkbox when you talk the guys that have come through the Crimson Tide program. And Christian Harris saw a big jump in production this past season where his numbers are concerned, was left off the All-SEC team. So he brings a lot of anger. He brings a lot of motivation. He brings a chip on his shoulders. Looking forward to seeing what he does because he knows I got a chance to help this team be back-to-back national champions as well as secure myself a bag as a first-round draft value. Christian Harris, number 3. At number 2, Give me Jordan Battle here. And since 2009, 10 safeties from Alabama in the Nick Saban era have been drafted, including 3 taken in the first round. Those 3, Mark Barron, Clinton Diggs, and Minkah Fitzpatrick. Jordan Battle is looked at as a film junkie, studies the game. Coach Saban impressed and pleased with his leadership, with his growth production on the field. A guy that was 3rd on the team in total tackles just a season ago. Very high IQ, very instinctive player, and so he knows, can I have a chance to be the 4th DB of the Saban era drafted in the first round. This is going to be a huge year here for one Jordan Battle. And then last but not least, Evan Neal on the offensive line and offensive tackle. This young man this past season, 810 snaps. He only gave up 1.5 sacks a season ago. And for this guy at 6'7", 360 pounds, you've got 3 right-handed quarterbacks on your roster, scholarship guys. You want to have that size, that length, that athleticism, that quickness on the left side, protecting the blind side of the quarterback. So I think Nick Saban is going to take Evan Neal, flip him over there to left tackle. And since 2009, Alabama's had 5 offensive tackles taken in the first round. In discussing Andre Smith, James Carpenter, DJ Fluker, Jonah Williams, and also Jedrick Wills. All of those guys taken in the first round. Evan Neal has that ability. Evan Neal has that skill set. Now, Alex Leatherwood could go in the first round, too, in this upcoming venue up in April. It depends on how he does at his pro day. He had some good moments in the Senior Bowl. He had some rough moments in the Senior Bowl, so we'll see how it goes there with Leatherwood. But Evan Neal, definitely the ability to be a first rounder, and he's the #1 top junior here on this list for the Crimson Tide. But as always, Bama fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage here on your favorite program. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you've got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you right here, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. As always, Tide Nation, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. Also, you can get also for the print edition of Touchdown Alabama Magazine coming soon. If you want to get a copy of the print edition, you go right now, touchdownalabama.com. You click join, you subscribe, become a member today. That link in the description. Also, the 4-finger bling necklaces. We own thefourthquarter.com. You can cop one of those. Check out that link in the description. Gotta shout out my man Spencer Reveley one more time. That $10 donation. The Super Chat's helping us out here. Appreciate that love from Spencer Reveley. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, folks, I'll be back on Friday continuing the conversation that is Tide football. But we'll be back on Friday for Tide football, but the time will be different. The time will be 11 a.m. for Friday. So an earlier show, early morning show, 11 a.m. Friday. Be in the Super Chats, be in the chat line, be in the call segment. We're coming back Friday, different time, early on, 11 a.m. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate and value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing legitimately now to not be bored. As always, you get you those 3 meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, spend in my own words.